What is up, homies? Welcome back to another episode of the Heroes Reforged Podcast.
Hey.
Very excited to talk about, well, I'm very excited to figure out whether or not we will get into this gem right here.
We have a thing.
We have a thing. We'll see if we get into it. But we're going to talk about The Last of Us. We're going to talk about Sinners. I'm going to do my best to not hit the table, too. We're also watching Andor. So check out all that stuff on Patreon. We have a ton of other movies. We're doing the Jurassic Park movies and Jurassic World and Camp Cretaceous.
Yep.
So we're all in on like 18 things at the same time.
28 days and weeks later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
We did just watch
We
those.
did just watch them.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And the trailer came out.
Don't forget.
Man.
Eye-opening series, dude. I didn't
Elba?
realize. Yeah.
Jeremy Renner.
Renner's in this?
Rose Byrne.
Oh, that's crazy.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I brought an activity for us, and it's going to get crazy. It's going to get hectic, but we are doing so much stuff, and we have promised on the title, on the thumbnail, and you clicked on it right now, The Last of Us Part 2.
I don't think I've ever seen you this speechless, Adam, after this happened.
Well, I mean, for a lot of reasons, I think, like, I went into the show with the assumption that Pedro Pascal would be in the entire run of the show, because why would he not be?
Yeah. But also, if we didn't mention before, we're getting into spoilers for just the first 2 episodes.
Listen, I think I'm the only asshole who doesn't know anything about that game.
Me either. I don't know. I don't know anything about that game.
Okay, we're 2 assholes.
We're 2 assholes.
Okay, we didn't know anything about this. So the moment that spoiler, Joel gets killed.
Yeah.
He gets
disrespectfully too, man.
fucking
He got
done.
He got 9 ironed.
Literally.
It was bad.
It was not good.
He got sand wedged.
It was bad. But I mean, I think if you're going into The Last of Us and you didn't know anything about the game or the story or whatever, it's not outside of the realm of possibility to think that Joel would live on for more than
2 episodes.
10 total episodes.
It's a shocking death.
Yeah.
From a TV viewer perspective.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
Who shot JR? Who killed Joel?
I was shocked too.
Bitch Abby.
I knew that Joel Miller was going to eat it, but I also didn't know when in the season, because I haven't played the game.
Right.
Last of Us Part 2. So it was shocking for me too, but I think I had a little bit of I read the Game of Thrones books, and I'm watching the Red Wedding episode with people who had never seen it.
I still haven't seen it.
What?
The Red Wedding episode?
Oh, yeah. No, but I
know about it. But
right. Yeah. But that's the example of I was sitting there going, oh, I guess it's this episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I told you guys that like the internet was like, this one's crazy if you didn't get spoiled.
When did you find out about that spoiler?
I can't remember. Maybe
so it's already been in your brain for
Because the
years.
game's been out for like 10 years?
When did The Last of Us Part 2 video game come out?
Oh, 5 years.
Yeah.
The game came out in 2020?
Yes, I remember.
Okay.
So I was reading the comments, and I know that a lot of people mentioned that in 2020, everybody was this devastated who played the game. So I'm guessing the game came out in 2020.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. But it was crazy, dude. And like in our reaction, like it's just a great episode of television. It's great.
It is. Well, and I think that episode is also just such an incredible piece of television, like the whole 60 minutes, because there's so much that happens.
Yeah.
Joel's death is one part of it, but the entire attack on Jackson, Wyoming, on that town
Jackson
was
Hole.
Jackson Hole.
Yeah.
Don't forget the hole,
so
Adam.
good.
Yeah.
There's so many amazing moments with Tommy and the whole town that I wouldn't even say that Joel's death overshadows it. I feel like they're 2 parallel, massively important things happening at the same time.
Equally devastating.
And sometimes that's not the case in a show. Sometimes it's if one drastic thing happens, that is the thing that everyone pivots and talks about. And I feel like Jackson Hole and his death happening, I think, because at the tail end of the episode, that's all we're focused on, that I couldn't even talk about everything else that had happened in that episode. But all of that action stuff in the town with the flamethrower and Tommy, me thinking that Tommy's gonna die also, it was really, really tense. So it's just, from top to bottom, it's an incredible episode of The Last of Us, but also it's just like a very intense episode, on par with some of the stuff that we end up seeing in Andor season 2, like edge of your seat stuff that I'm like, this is the second episode. What are we doing for the other 5? How is this possible?
I can't help but think of that too.
I feel like we time jumped to the last episode.
Yeah, and it feels like for a character, and first of all, an actor like Pedro, to be killed off in episode 2 of a season that has potentially so many more things to show us is absolutely wild. Can you guys think of another show that did something like this early on?
Well, early on, that's a great question.
Game of Thrones killed off Sean Bean's character in the first season.
Okay. Yeah, but it's Sean Bean. He died all the time.
He died all the time.
That's typical.
You expect it from him.
It's the thing. What are you pointing to me at? Huh?
Daredevil Born Again.
Foggy Nelson. Episode 1.
Foggy Nelson in episode 1.
That's a great example, Producer Mark. But I think that the difference in that comparison is that like Pedro is also now a movie star level. Like he's just like such a big star.
Yeah. I guess when you ask me that question, I'm thinking of the impact of someone like
a celebrity,
top billing.
Nothing against Eldon Henson. I love the Mighty Ducks, but I'm not like.
Right.
What? Right. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But with Pedro Pascal, who's at like the fucking height of his career, to be killed in the second episode of what I thought was his show, I was like, what?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would have been like if Oscar Isaac was killed in episode 2 of Moon Knight. Right. We would really be like, wait, what is it?
What's the show about?
This kind of is like the Who Shot JR episode of Dallas, except it's like way earlier.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Off the top of my head, I truthfully cannot think of anything.
Okay. So given that you and I have not played the game yet, Adam, at this point you don't know anything else that happens after this, right?
Correct. I'm totally in the dark.
Do you guys feel like killing off, like there's no returning, there's no going back after this point, obviously. He's dead. But do you feel like the story is strong enough to continue without him? Do you feel like everything that's built up so far, are we watching just for Mr. Handsome, or are we watching because the show is that good?
Well, it's definitely, and it should be, it's going to be a different show.
Yeah.
Because if we talked about this during watching it, and when we were done, we're like, well, they could bring him back for flashback scenes, but then you're like, well, then that kind of lessens the impact of losing a Pedro Pascal, that presence in the show. If it's now Ellie's story, it should be Ellie's story. It's that character's story. It should be her story. So it's going to be different. I don't know if it. That's a great question of like, is the story going to be strong enough to support the rest of the thing? I don't know because I didn't play the game.
Yeah,
but I am very trusting of like the creatives involved. They're all you know. Yeah, I just saw even just a quick written interview, not even a video, a written interview with the writer Craig Mazin, who has been writing every episode of The Last of Us, and he's a massive fan of the games and has been for years. Though he was getting choked up talking about the writing of the scene where Joel dies.
Yeah.
Because Pedro Pascal like moves his finger and to signify that he's there, and he's seeing Ellie sort of scream for him, and it's so sad. And I'm like, this guy is this maybe enamored with his own writing, but he's this in love with the story.
Yeah.
That I have faith that the people that are making the show are going to take care with that level throughout the rest of the season 2 and 3.
Right.
So but I have no idea what it's going to be. I did have somebody on the internet go like, strap in, dude, it's just getting started. I'm like, what? The hell? Where the hell else are we going?
Jesus.
Is it going to be? I will say this. I don't want to spoil maybe another thing that I might have gleaned from the fandom reaction to the video game, but I feel as though Ellie versus Abby is going to be a big thing. It feels like that. Well, she was like, I'm going to kill you.
There's no way that we're not heading to that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely.
How devastating or effective or what's that going to be like?
Right.
Yeah,
and I think that anytime I see interviews with Neil Druckmann or Craig Mazin talking about the process of making that show, I think the thing that gives me some, I don't know, like I feel at ease about the story progressing in the way that it's progressing is that, well, first of all, Neil Druckmann's involved. So having the people who made the game be involved in some capacity makes me feel good, because I feel like a lot of times when they do these video game adaptations, that's the part that it kind of loses, is the people who made it are not involved, and then they just it's just an adaptation and it has no sort of like carryover from the original people who made it.
It's taking G.I. Joe and giving them accelerator suits instead of making a fucking G.I. Joe movie. I don't want to complain about
a little bit of that.
2009's Rise of Cobra.
Yeah.
All right.
But so I think that's the thing that kind of just keeps me on the train and keeps me hopeful, is that they sit down and they talk about, okay, what happened in the game? What are the bullet points of the game? What are the most important parts of that game that we need to translate to the show to make it still feel like it is a part of that DNA?
Yeah.
So I think because they are approaching it with that those optics, I feel like I'm in safe hands, and that anything else that's a holy shit moment, I'm going to automatically assume, well, the game did it, so they're just adapting that to the best possible way that they can for a show.
I agree.
So I feel good about it. And do I think that the story has enough sort of like gas in the tank to, I don't know, like bring it home? I do. And I have full faith in the actors that are left in the show. Like, I love Bella Ramsey. I think she's really great as Ellie.
Yeah.
I think Kaitlyn Dever is going to grow on me as Abby, even though right now I want her to be killed in every way possible. And I love Gabriel Luna. Everyone that's left that is a character on that show that we have some sort of Isabella Merced. Are you kidding me?
Favorite part
She's so good. So anyone that I'm currently emotionally attached to and who I'll probably end up growing on me, I'm in for the ride. I think now I'll just have to deal with the fact that Pedro Pascal, the fatherly figure of that show, who's been guiding Ellie on screen for however much time that first season was, and off screen for those 5 years, there's going to be a really strong emotional connection. And she's now going to go through a really painful arc of dealing with losing her dad, basically. So I'm really interested to see how that grows her as a character, which I think will be really interesting.
Do you think well, I have a lot of questions for you guys about this stuff.
Go ahead.
First of all, this might be just the biggest, get you talking for the entire episode, but I don't know. Was Abby justified in murdering?
Well, look,
Joel?
man.
That is a great question, because I feel like in a lot of ways, yes, but I'm sure there's arguments for both.
What would you have done?
If Adam was who?
Okay, if Adam
was Abby?
if Adam was Abby, and then if you were what's your name? Oh my God, Bella.
Ellie?
Yeah, Ellie. In both situations, give me both sides of the
Oh
coin.
my
Give me
God.
both sides of the coin.
So if I was Abby and someone killed my father, would I go after that person?
Would you have that murderous, demonic rage that Abby has?
Me personally, I don't think I would.
While watching the
interesting.
show,
Okay.
I was like, I love my dad. I would not brutally murder my father's murderer the way this person is.
I think I would do everything in my power to get that person, like,
To justice?
in jail, to justice, to be
There's
tried.
no justice system.
But that's the thing. That's
There's
the
no
thing of that
justice.
world.
There can be.
But there isn't, not with her. They're a roaming
I
group
got you.
of people
I got you.
who are
I got you.
just existing.
Well,
Right?
that's a great question. I mean, I think I want to answer it, but I want to answer it from the perspective of the show.
Okay.
Is Abby justified in what this character did?
Yeah.
In real life, meaning if I were Abby, yeah. This dude came through and was a roaming criminal who killed 18 of their people and basically ended their organization that were trying to cure the thing and save the world.
Right.
That's what they were trying to do.
True. Yeah.
Here's the thing that always gets left out, or was left out of that episode last night. Nobody brought up that they were going to kill this kid to get to that point.
Yeah. Abby's dad was going to kill
Going to kill
Right.
Ellie.
Yeah.
That's a big moral sort of trolley problem.
Right.
Right.
So in the real world, yeah, you're justified. Joel killed 18 people. And like I keep saying, in the video game, he killed like 50. In the video game, you just keep going with there's just waves and waves of humans like, stop, and you're just killing everybody because it's a video game. But in the show, no. The show so far has not shown us enough. Meaning, this is not the correct thing that they should have done, but imagine if they had spent all season doing flashbacks of Abby and her dad.
Yeah.
Doing flashbacks, right, of every Firefly character
emotional
interacting
hook.
with every character who then, at the end of the episode, Joel comes in and shoots him in the head.
Yeah.
Just like...
The show makes you feel those characters are expendable.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And right now they still are. The closest I've gotten to feeling like, damn, dude, I feel for these people is the looks they kept shooting to every one of the other characters. Every time Abby was like, we're going to do this and do this, all the other characters are like, this bitch is crazy. They're like, this bitch is going to get us killed.
Not what I signed up for.
That one dude, that tall white dude that was very reasonable, and he's like, I got a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Get
and
her
then,
out.
and then Abby leaves, and he's like, my plan is to try to convince her for us to leave. And I'm like, this is a very human character moment.
Yeah.
I love this. This is great. I want to feel for both sides of this equation. But no, dude. Then the 9 iron came out. Then the golf club came out, and I went, this is...
He got Alex Murphy and he got Happy Gilmore.
Yep.
She got
At the same time.
They went too far. She's going too far.
Yeah.
So, but that's the question: is the rest of the show going to try to do that? to have us sitting here in our hate. Maybe the video game does this, sitting here in our hate, and then the rest of the story is like, now here's their perspective.
Sure.
And then you go, well, damn, dude, Joel did deserve to die.
I do want to share this that I thought was really interesting from our buddy Ryan Unicomb. Because he saw our reaction.
Is he a game player first?
Oh yeah.
And he's Australian, so please read it in an
Australian.
Australian accent.
So he speaks upside down.
I will not.
Hey, Adam.
He texts upside down as well.
The first thing that he sent me, by the way, because of the time difference, this was 2 a.m. my time.
Sure.
And now you know why The Last of Us 2 was so divisive.
Sure.
And I said, son of a bitch, great episode, but fuck. And he goes, well, he did say that the game did handle a lot of that stuff a little bit better. And he said that Abby is his favorite character in that universe. So y'all are in from a treat from here on out.
Whoa.
And I said, I responded, fuck that bitch.
Yep.
And he said, nah, she's the GOAT. You'll see.
No.
And I said,
no, I don't believe it.
And I said, but shocked that they did in the second episode felt like a finale. And he goes, fuck Joel and Ellie. And I was like, dang. He says Joel was the bad guy at the end of the first game. The show just fumbled that in season 1. In the game, you legit get to play as Joel for the first 10 minutes and then bam, fridged.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, okay,
See,
interesting.
that is daring.
Yeah.
That's bold.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree
So that
with
made me really excited, truthfully.
Yeah.
I think there were, man. Maybe I need to kind of be more familiar with it. But I keep bringing up like Joe killed way more people in the game. I think the game, as I was playing through it, I was sort of like, I don't want to keep killing these guys.
Right.
The game continues to sort of force you to do it.
Yeah.
And maybe there is more of that choice of like, well, are you going to let these people go? Let not these people go? The TV show doesn't do that.
Yeah.
The TV show is like he walks in, shoots a doctor in the head. You know, I don't know if there were moments in the game where it's like, spare the doctor or not. I don't remember.
Well,
Yeah,
This
because obviously media doesn't allow for
Correct.
This is the last thing that he said. He said, killing the Fireflies, who were huge good guys in the game, just because they weren't 100%. Killing the Fireflies, who were huge good guys in the game, just because they weren't 100%. Ellie was going to create an antidote. The game is more nuanced, but the show definitely wanted Joel to be a good guy by season 1, which will make it harder to pull off the arc from the second game, but I have faith.
that. Okay.
That's
also
great.
Obviously, the game, the show has changed some things from where
and it makes
we
sense
were.
that the show will try to position Joel as more of like a hero character,
Right.
Because everyone loves Pedro Pascal.
Of course, you can't have him be a bad guy at the end of season 1. That makes his death even more impactful now.
I agree. And I think that when the show did try to, if our buddy Ryan is saying that they fumbled it, I think that moment we're talking about is where Ellie point blank asks him, are you lying to me?
Right.
Were they basically going to be able to save the world with my death because I wanted this and this is the choice I'm trying to make, or no? And
if I would have been given the choice, maybe I would have made the sacrifice.
And Joel lies to Ellie's face and goes, no, I'm not lying to you. And us as the audience are supposed to go, dang,
and we
dude.
did.
But we did. Except we're also like, but you're her dad. You
Right.
have to take care of her.
It's that empathy.
That's
Sympathy,
that's where we're going.
I
with
remember the comment sections after those episodes went down in season 1. There's a shit ton of people, probably the same people who were like, it was thinking like Ryan now about Abby. Same people going, I'm a parent and I would do that exact same thing. And that's exactly what I would do. And I'm like, okay, cool. But murder, whether you're a parent, is never justified anyway. Like, parents are not. I personally don't think murder solves anything. But then again,
I agree.
I'm not in this post-apocalyptic, no justice zombie world.
Correct, because it's like it's different. There's a difference between when if something horrible happens, you would hope that. That's where we have laws, dude.
Yeah.
That's obviously. I keep thinking about those heartbreaking scenes of like. A child gets murdered, a young person gets murdered, their parent is in the courtroom. The person who's getting sentenced to something like smiles at the dad, and the dad leaps over the table to try.
I think about that a lot.
That's harrowing.
What would
That's
I
your
do?
inner rage?
I think like, what would I do? Would I sit there and keep calm, or would I explode?
And the judge in that, this is a famous like viral clip, right, for a real thing that happened. The judge was like after it got all settled, the judge was like, I think we can all understand the father's state of mind right now.
Yeah.
Like no charges were pressed. No,
Right,
you're out of order, sir.
Yeah.
It was like
You're going to jail, guy.
Yeah.
Right.
You killed
So-
this person's child.
and it's very easy to say, oh, I would forgive. And we've seen that story too, which is also like, I cannot even fathom a
I
parent.
think it's even more difficult to do that.
It is.
Yeah.
A parent sitting in a courtroom and being like,
Right.
saying to a killer of their child, I forgive you.
Yeah.
And then the killer will just break down. Like, all that stuff has happened. It's real human experiences. But in this world of The Last of Us, there's no law.
No justice
And
system.
there's no way to,
Get that.
To put the Fireflies on trial and go, you guys were trying to kill a child. I prevented you and nobody died. And now let's talk about it. No, they were like, we need to kill Ellie now to get this kid's blood and figure out what the cure is. And so who's in the wrong? Both of them. So you know what I mean? But then is it is it morally justifiable to kill a kid to save the human race? Like,
right,
Christ.
Exactly. And also,
no,
I think,
And also, are we guaranteed 100% success rate?
that's
on
what I was
that?
going to say. The
Draw
ambiguity
Ellie's
of
blood.
whether she was going to actually make that happen is also kind of confuses the thing because you don't know. She could have just potentially died. And I think that's what Joel was kind of banking on, is that we don't know if this is going to work. I can't take this risk of this person dying and it not working. Right? And I think that was generally what he was thinking and why he did what he did.
If a scientist goes, this will be 100%, we will cure the human race, but you do have to pass away.
Yeah.
And then you say it to Ellie's face, and then Ellie goes, let me think about it.
Exactly.
And then Ellie spends a week with Joel and goes, I'm going to do this.
Right. There was no reason it had to be that hurried. Right?
Yeah. I don't know.
It didn't. It had
I
that.
don't know.
That
Now
question
I'm like,
could have been presented, but then again, we would have had just a lame show. If that,
Right.
if
There
that
needs
was
to be
the
tension.
thing,
I know,
right?
dude.
There needs to be
some tension.
obstacles.
Yeah.
And also, you think about Joel lost his daughter, and it's
Sure.
There's a lot of emotion behind it. Yeah.
Do you guys feel, another question, do you guys feel satisfied or unsatisfied with the fact that Ellie couldn't make amends with Joel by the end?
I think that's great.
Do you feel like that's going to be kind of the
I think
driving force
it's a
of the story?
massive character builder for
Do you
her.
feel sad? I feel sad.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I feel really
Heartbroken.
sad.
That's real
Heartbroken.
life. That's real life,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't get to say the final goodbye.
Yeah. In fact, I
gonna
just
cry.
saw my mom this morning because she was.
Don't
she
you?
was-
Hey, whoa, don't even.
Don't you?
I
don't
did.
either of you start right now. I
we
swear
go.
to God.
I saw my mother, Sylvia, and because she was house sitting for us this weekend. We were out of town.
Hi, Sylvia.
And this morning, and I don't think it was The Last of Us that did it, but maybe it was psychologically. Maybe it was subconsciously. But this morning when she left, she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna head home." When she was leaving the house, I was like, "Hey, I think about you all the time. Just want you to know I think about you all the time."
Adam looked at me and looked at one tear. It was like on Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs, the one tear, and then he sucked it
Get back
up.
in there. Get back up there, Tear. Mr. T's Tear.
You go to hell, Hector.
Because also because I got her and my sister like a little sticker sheet over the weekend from an artist when I was at a convention, and it's like
Sticker sheet?
a little sticker sheet. Well, my mom and sister like that
Hector's a
TV
good
show.
gifter.
I'm okay. They
No,
like
you are a good gifter.
they like the I
Give
think I
yourself
appreciate
12%
that.
credit.
Yeah.
They like the TV show with this little puppet Nanalan. You guys seen that?
No.
Little Nanalan.
Lanolin?
Lanolin?
Like
Are you
sheep's
saying
wool?
lanolin?
Like sheep's wool?
I think you're saying lanolin. Look it up on your phone. Nanalan is
phone's way
like
up
Nana, like a grandma land, but it's Nanalan, and it's this little puppet and they have little voices. And this thing's on YouTube.
Oh, wait. I have
And
seen
it's
that.
like-
The little,
Yeah,
the, one, the
Yeah.
meme that goes, "Who's that wonderful girl?"
Yes. It's that thing.
Yeah.
So like my
It
mom
looks
and
like Shrek, but cuter.
it's cute. It's very cute. My mom, it's like for little kids and little babies
yeah.
and stuff. It's like a preschool, like Elmo, Sesame Street style thing. And adults have gone onto it because it's weird and funny and cute. But like my sister's a grown person.
Yeah.
But they'll watch it as sort of like a comfort, funny show that they put on YouTube and stuff. So I was at this convention and I'm in the artist alley and I see an artist that did a sticker sheet of these characters. And it made me think of my mom and sister. And I was like, oh, I'm going to buy this little sticker sheet.
they'd love it.
Support this artist. They'd love it. So I showed it to my mom and she's like, oh, thank you. And then I got a text from my sister because my mom and sister live together. And my sister was like, thanks for the sticker sheet. This is really cute. But like just the thing of like, hey, mom, I got this for you. It's not very helpful as a gift. It's not a Amazon gift card. It's not, it's not a practical thing, but I'm like, hey, I was at a place and I was thinking of you. It's a little thing I got.
That's all that matters.
It's very sweet. And so I gave it to my mom. So when she was leaving this morning, because I got in late, y'all know.
Oh, we know. We recorded that episode real late.
Really?
Kind of
I'm
barely,
still tired.
barely
Me too.
talked to my mom. So it was in the morning when she was leaving that I was like, we spent a little time, and then as she's heading out the door,
Say it again,
I was like,
isn't he?
I was like, hey, mom.
Mom,
No, I'm
you
not gonna say it
stopped?
again. I'm not gonna say it
You
again.
stopped?
Hey, mom, I just want you to
stopped?
know. Hey, mom. hey,
Hey,
no,
hey, Mom.
hey, Mom. I know I don't say this a lot. No, I didn't. I didn't do that. But it is. It may have been The Last of Us that actually made me think about, because the notion that like Ellie didn't get to. Resolve
Close
that's human.
Totally.
And frankly, watching the first episode, knowing that they were beefing, I was thinking as a viewer that knew that Joel was going to die, I was like, I wonder if they're going to like
Close it
resolve
up. Resolve it.
If they do before and then he dies, I'm like, that would have been satisfying narratively.
Yeah.
But if they didn't and then he dies, I'm like, that's very human.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. We lose people lose people, and they're not able
Never
to
get to say goodbye.
the thing,
Yeah.
So,
And then you have to live that, and you mull that
Yeah.
over your head constantly to
Yeah.
eat you away. But
Yeah.
it really informs decisions that you will make in your future.
Absolutely.
And because how old is she now?
19.
Ellie?
Remember? She's
Yeah.
Correct.
So like at 19 especially, and
Yeah.
transitioning into being an adult, like that's going to have a massive impact on how you
absolutely.
treat people around you moving forward. And whatever it's going to do to that character in the rest of the show.
It's crazy
man.
that Abby, the character, was also hunting down Joel for 5 years.
That is
That's a
Remember
long
her
time.
monologue? She was like, I was in the Fireflies, and
Yeah.
now I'm
Yeah.
25
Yeah.
or something. Like,
Yeah.
I was 20
Yeah.
when you shot my dad in the head. I was
Right.
19 or whatever she said. I was like,
crazy.
it was rough, man. But
wild.
I haven't seen the episode a second time yet.
I haven't either. It's only been
It's only been a couple
15
hours. It's
15 hours.
only been
But I will
little
cry.
bit.
I will cry. And it was really, really stellar. And so far, the second season, I think, is as good as the first.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's
Yeah.
early. It's a little too early to tell.
Right.
But obviously, I feel like they're doing a fantastic job. Like, we haven't even talked about the Zombos at all.
They're great.
Dude.
Like, the fact that there was 1 billion of them in the mountains.
And I love how we were like, oh, there might be like 1,000, and there literally were.
Yeah, that was
billion.
awesome.
It was nuts.
Literally
That
a
was
billion of them in the mountains.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like it's realistic? I don't know how survival-ish you are, but for a town like that to get that many resources up in the mountains, to be ready for some kind, because they had like Lord of the Rings style walls with like Lord of the Rings style explosions and like garrisons and just like all this stuff.
If it had been like 6 months later, no. But because it's 5 years, I'm like,
5
yeah,
years?
dude, 5
The
years.
power grid
They're drilling
and, like-
things. They're running through practice rounds.
Well, think about if we were
Yeah.
like 5 years into the pandemic still, and like
Yeah.
deep in the pandemic.
Yeah, we
right.
are.
Like I feel like five years later, we would have some semblance of like security and defense.
Yeah, something.
You know, even if we're just like rag and tag and
Everybody wearing Daft Punk masks.
Yeah.
Just nobody's breathing on each other.
That'd be cool. That'd be very cool. Yeah, I don't even know if we're gonna have time to get to that thing because we still have to talk about the other thing.
Yeah,
I
we
know.
do. I have another question for you guys too.
For Last
Let's talk
of Us,
about the
go
next-
for it.
No, for the next thing.
For the next thing,
Oh.
okay. Anything
wanna
else
move along?
for The Last of Us 2? I mean, it was awesome watching it,
it
with
was
you guys.
really good episode. You mentioned it, but they definitely feels like they gave them a little bit more. But it's like episodes of Invincible. The episodes that are really emotionally impactful and really matter to like the core story, they throw money at that shit, and it looks
Stellar
choice.
Skarsgård.
It really does.
Yeah, like they could, at this rate, with what they showed us, they could really go 3 or 4 episodes where there's like no zombies.
Yeah.
It's
Just dialogue.
It's just people talking in rooms, like, and it would
Breathing.
be, and we're just like recuperating, and it
Yeah.
would be great, before they do some other.
Because we
big
haven't even
thing.
seen Tommy find out that Joel is
Bro, don't
No,
even get me
they were
started.
dragging his
be
body back
rough.
by the end.
I
yeah.
want to see Catherine O'Hara spit on his
Yes,
body, like
right? She's
you
like,
killed
"Well,
Eugene.
That's fine with me.
You want to talk about creatives firing on all cylinders?
Jeez, Louise.
Hit him with
Holy
the no
God.
spoiler. I haven't
Okay.
seen it. I haven't seen anything yet.
Oh,
Hit him with the no spoiler.
we're gonna go no spoilers. I
Yeah.
don't even want to talk about the premise.
I
Because
know it's a vampire movie.
Well, there it is. Well, there it is. That's it right
so,
there.
Okay, so this is going to be part of my question
Go.
later on. No,
Okay.
but I want you
Oh.
guys to
Sure.
talk
Gonna be
about this
marketing
movie.
related, I'm sure.
I'll just say that I really dug it. And I at first I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd, and then somebody called me out on it, and I was like, "That's not." I'm like, "You're right. That's not 3 stars. This is 4 stars for me, maybe 5 stars. I want to watch it again." It's one of those movies where you're like, after you see it, you're like, "God, I need to watch this again." And especially right now, being in theaters, it's super special. It was great. You were there with me when we were at IMAX, and we got to see it in IMAX, and it's awesome. But I want to see it again, and I loved so many things about it. And that one shot that everyone's talking about is my favorite. I was like moved emotionally. But I'll say that for as much as I loved it, I also think that like go watch and go listen to some film critics and movie influencers that are Black talking about this movie, because it is about that experience. And it's also about, I didn't know this, the Asian experience in the South, which is super cool. I mean, Coogler, dude, when he did Panther 2, it was also about Latin America. It was also about Mesoamerica. It was all, he wove all that in there.
Yeah.
In these sort of different communities, and kind of talked about the connectedness, which was awesome. So I felt very like happy and excited and almost kind of qualified to talk about Wakanda Forever. Whereas with this one, I'm like, hey man,
that ain't me.
That ain't me. Let everybody else talk. Go see because people are messaging me like, have you guys seen Sinners? Can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts on it. And I'm like, love that, love the enthusiasm. Me, Adam, and Agustin, we will talk about that movie for sure. But we're not the guys. Like, go absolutely go seek out some great people talking about the movie, dissecting it. They're tweeting about it. They're talking about the themes. All that shit is out there. It's awesome. But for me, it was a great experience, and I want to see it again, and I want to see it with my girlfriend, and I want to see. It's really fun seeing it in the theater, and people have been talking about. I'm going to do one spoiler for you, okay? Because what's the premise? Vampire movie. There's
Blades in it.
Apparently, even better.
Finally appears.
Even better.
It's about fucking time.
Oh my god.
Even better. Delroy's in it. Delroy Lindo's in
was
this
supposed
movie.
to be in Blade, I think.
But there's a moment where somebody posted about this, tweeted about it, where they're like, seeing this movie in a theater and having the entire theater yell close the door when they're when the vampire's trying to get in.
Yeah.
They were like, that added to the experience.
Yeah.
It is one of those movies.
Love that.
I love
That's
that.
the vibe.
I love
That's the
that.
vibe.
Yeah, Delroy Lindo, standout for me. Good God. I grew up watching Delroy Lindo movies in the late 90s, 2000s. There's so many great appearances that he's done. But man, he was so funny and charming, and the way he tells stories, it's really, really good. But yeah, it's an incredible movie.
Talk to us why you've seen it 3 times. Not just because you got invited to stuff, but is this a standout movie for you? Is this something you've been waiting for?
Yeah, because here's the thing, and you know this because you were sitting in the theater with me. We fucking cried during Creed.
Cried together.
Yeah. Okay. Creed made me cry, and Black Panther was such a surprise.
Yeah.
Because again, the Marvel machine, you don't know what you're going to expect. Also, no one really knew Ryan Coogler that well. I didn't know Ryan Coogler that well. He did an amazing job with Creed. I didn't know too much about how he made Creed. So yeah, it was all kind of surprise. Now that he's made 4 films that I really like, I'm going into it going, well, you gotta make me love this one now. I'm expecting it. Kind of the same thing with Christopher Nolan. After the Dark Knight trilogy, I'm like, well, I better love Inception, Interstellar, Dunkirk.
Tenet,
I better love all of them. Well, Tenet I didn't love that much, but whatever.
It's okay.
But now it being the 5th film, I'm like, yeah, I'm really hoping that I go into it and I love it. And I did not know. I knew once I was in the movie, but I didn't know until way late in the game that it was going to be a vampire film. So because the first trailer you see, it's kind of ambiguous. You don't know too much. It's mostly tone, and you see beautiful shots of stuff. I'm like, great, it looks beautiful. I love Michael B. Jordan. It's their 5th time working together. It's gonna be great. Louis Göransson. It's got all the bells and whistles that I'm excited for. And it's an IMAX 70 millimeter.
Oh my god,
Ryan Coogler, we're best friends, and I don't even know you. So that was
we
really
need him
exciting.
on the show today.
I've been thinking about it for the last week. But then to find out that it's a horror movie, I was like, well, will you adopt me? I don't know.
I did ask Adam before the movie started, when we sat down. I said, okay, I'm expecting this to be an all-timer, but I was like, but I don't know if it's going to top Black Panther 1 for me. Maybe Black Panther Wakanda Forever, because I do love Namor. I do love that side of the story, and I just love Wakanda. And then I was like, I don't know if it's going to top Creed for me. I love that film. It's my favorite Rocky movie. It's one of my favorite sports. It's just very American. I love that film for me. So I'm like, those 3, I don't see those 3 being dethroned. And I went, I don't know. Even after watching the movie, I don't think they were. Do I think that Sinners is better than Wakanda Forever, as a movie? Probably, yeah, for sure. But I'm going with my favorites. I love the Marvel world, so on and so forth. But I asked Adam, I'm like, what about you? And Adam, you were like, oh, this is my number 1 with a bullet. After you saw it one time, I was like, really? And you're like, yeah, dude, this is a horror movie. And I went, yeah, okay, cool.
So it makes total sense why for you, Black Panther, you would skew more Black Panther, and I would skew more horror.
I love the Marvel universe, and you love seeing people get chopped up.
It's fucking
ripped to shit.
beautiful.
So that was an all-timer experience. And the other thing I want to mention too is that like Adam is this amazing like secret weapon in the world of film talk right now, because the studios are not putting out. Shout out to that Kodak video where Coogler is actually talking about the different formats.
That was key.
Yeah,
it was really
beautiful.
helpful.
But the marketing for a movie like this, in terms of like the film formats, how to see it, where to see it, is really lacking. And I know that marketing teams and social media teams are working their asses off.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you guys are underpaid and underappreciated and understaffed, because how this isn't like, you know, easily lookupable. And
Well,
also
tell people what you're talking about, because
Well,
there
I'm
might be people who don't know about what Adam
it's
did.
also, I know that like this world I'm describing to is different than it was 5 years ago. Because
It's different.
It's so
since
different.
Oppenheimer came out. Too.
Oppenheimer, but I'm
18
saying like
months only.
social media. I'm like,
Yeah,
it used to be
the
where
experience, all that.
people would be easily like tweeting and marketing shit on Twitter, and now it's like, oh, that's like a Nazi playground. Like it's not cool. Like it's gross to have to post stuff there. But anyway, I'm talking about Adam putting out a video and being like, here's the differences in the formats, or even just that graphic. Here's the differences in the formats. Go look up where to see this, when and where in your town, and what's the closest thing to you. And, you know, and you were even pointing out, you're like, I'm seeing people in LA going like, oh, all this stuff's sold out. And you're like, go to the Irvine Spectrum Center. It's an hour drive, which is the same as it would be to go to Universal City Walk and park.
From
and,
Santa Monica and all that shit. Yeah.
So, that kind of stuff that's just like easily understandable. The way Coogler broke it down, we saw people go, whoa, I didn't know this. The way Coogler was breaking this movie down, Adam saw people go, ooh, I want to get this on Blu-ray. Do they still even make Blu-rays? Because they're not in a space.
I was like,
They're
what?
not, whatever they're doing in their lives, they're not walking into retail spaces where they see new Blu-rays on the shelf. Do you know what I mean?
Most places don't even carry them anymore. So
So it's like sad. It's a sad state of affairs. So Adam's coming in clutch and getting your video is popping off and your image is like shared like, I don't know how many, what do you got, like 8 trillion impressions? What is it?
I think it's close to 1 million at this point.
A million impressions.
And IMAX, well, and that's the thing too, is like when IMAX retweets something that you make, you know that is in a lot of ways an endorsement. So I felt good about it because I thought, okay, I did something correctly.
Hire this man, IMAX. Hire
Because
him.
otherwise, like, you just know that has to go through so many layers of approval, or at least someone else has to look at it and go, well, is this even accurate?
Right.
Because if you're IMAX, the last thing you want to do is share something that is not accurate.
Correct.
Because then you're confusing people.
Right.
But that's the thing. Like that Kodak video that they put out with Ryan Coogler, them and IMAX and Proximity and Warner Brothers, it's really good.
Yeah.
And the thing that I said in my video is like 18 months ago when Oppenheimer was coming out, Christopher Nolan wasn't making a video like that.
And he should have.
Right.
You know, and like he should have, he could have,
Yep.
he didn't. Maybe because he's assuming, well, people already know,
No, dude.
but there's a lot of people who are not
we're
Christopher Nolan fans.
So stupid.
Who need to know where to go see these movies in these formats.
We need more videos from people like Tom Cruise and the director of the Mission Impossible movies where
yeah.
they're like, turn off True Motion.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm sorry to bang the table, Mark, but it's frustrating.
It is.
Yeah, it's the stuff that you can't, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I do it truthfully is because when it's a movie that's as good as Sinners, and I know there's a lot of people who love horror, and horror is having an amazing time at the theater right now, or just like in pop culture in general, like there are so many amazing movies made in that genre that if you are willing to and you're able to, and it's within reasonable distance from you, you should go see it in the best format possible. Because Ryan Coogler and Androd Arkapaw and the whole crew, they put in the effort to capture that in the most beautiful way that they could. So you should see it in one of the most premium formats possible. If you're 200 miles away from an IMAX theater, maybe not. But if you're within 50 to 100 miles,
Bro,
in my brain, and you love movies and you want to support like artists like Ryan Coogler, it is worth it, I think.
And hang on a minute, 200 miles is only about LA to San Diego, baby. I'm sorry.
I know.
To Europeans, this is insane. They're like, what?
That's a whole other country.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
I need my passport? No way.
You mean I gotta go to France from Prague?
People in Texas will be like, hell, I'll drive 4 hours to a Sonic. Like, they don't give a shit. So make a day of it. I don't know what to tell you. Like everything Adam's saying is accurate. And if you're like, oh man, it's like 2 hours away, make a day of it.
Yeah.
Go on a road trip. Go on a mini road trip to go see a movie, in the early afternoon or
What a
evening,
dinner.
and then afterwards eat something and then drive
Urban
back.
Spectrum has an improv theater. They got restaurants. They got
a Ferris wheel.
Yeah, there's plenty to do.
got a lot of
City
stuff.
Walk just has Universal, so you're either going to pay $150 to go to the park, or you're just going to the movie.
Hey, man.
Or you can go have some dinner and go get a watch improv.
Gas
show.
is expensive. Is there a train? Could you do a train?
I mean, you
no,
could.
you need a high-speed train rail
train?
along the U.S. I understand our infrastructure is shit. I get it. Transportation
Listen,
sucks.
and it
but
also outside of you making the effort, it is now on the effort of IMAX and the movie theaters to put more IMAX theaters around the world, so more people can go see it. So it's not one theater in Toronto or one theater in Vancouver, one theater in LA, one theater in Chicago.
Yeah.
You got to make it more accessible.
That Kodak video, literally, Ryan Coogler was like, here's this version of the format. There's going to be 7 of these.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, that's crazy.
7, yeah.
10
was
IMAX
like-
70 millimeter, 5 70 millimeters. Like,
this
come on.
in the world? Yeah. Like, so, like,
Yeah.
he was listing
Right?
these
Yeah.
cities,
Right?
bro. He was like, there's one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. And you're like, God damn.
Great, I'm in India.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
It
exactly.
sucks, man.
So that's the bummer. But yeah, I mean, creatively, artistically, the movie is incredible. The way it interweaves music, the way it interweaves all these different
History.
themes and history.
Yeah.
Like Black history, but even some Irish history.
Yes.
The way it like crosses all those things over, and the way it uses the villain of the movie, and you're like, oh, this is not good. I think the people who are turned are not understanding what he's trying to do. But yeah, it beautifully interweaves all these things. And
Also-
there is
Everybody in the movie is too fucking hot.
oh my god, Michael B. Jordan.
Man, woman, and person in this movie are.
This is I think the third Warner Brothers film to come out this year that has one actor playing twins.
Yeah.
Because you had Mickey 17 with Robert Pattinson,
Yeah.
Alto Nights I think with Robert De Niro, and now this with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Really incredible performance.
is the sexiest
because
of
he
the
is
three.
playing 2 completely different characters.
Yeah.
And I think he pulls it off the best because at no point in that movie am I watching going, which one is which?
Yeah, I see.
It also
You
helps.
100% know which character.
It also helps that they have different color hats on. For
It does, which is a big foreshadow to a lot of things.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
But
like
the-
they do a really amazing job.
the
with it.
sexiness of the movie. There's this one moment.
Jesus.
There's this one thing that
There's
one character.
one?
Hang on. There's one thing that one character does to another character, and after that happened, I turned to you and I was like, Jesus Christ! I was like, holy shit!
You said no, do sex.
We were both like,
And then I noticed that another character does it to Michael B. Jordan again, and I'm like,
wait, are we thinking of the same thing?
I think so.
What other character does?
Whisper it to each other.
Oh, I think we're thinking of
sexy.
different
Oh,
things.
Be sexy.
I know what
Thinking
you're
of-
thinking of.
I'm thinking
I know. Ice cream. That's what you're thinking of. I know what you're thinking of. Yeah.
Wait,
That was
no. Oh, that was good too.
See?
Anyway,
Too many
Jesus.
sexy moments
I'm
in the movie.
sweating over
Damn.
here,
Oh my
man.
God.
Yeah, damn. This movie was hot.
Anyway,
I
it's
think
great.
you're all worked up now.
Augustine.
Jesus, you're all horned up. Get out of here,
Sorry.
guys. We gotta end this episode.
Remember the mask when he turns into a wolf?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You haven't seen it yet,
No.
but you had a question for
I
us.
would love for you to see this movie because
We
it's
should
so
wait.
musically charged.
We gotta wait.
I know.
Yes, but
When this thing
now
comes out-
it's a reaction to the channel at
Yeah,
this
yeah,
point
yeah. I
because I
agree.
haven't seen
I
it.
will not stop shouting the rooftops. Of
And
this movie.
Listen, that's kind of what I wanted to ask you guys about.
Oh,
So,
okay.
here's the thing.
Let me set this activity aside. We're not gonna have
Yeah,
time for
this shit. Let me toss
Yeah.
it. Okay, so I love film media, obviously all of these things. I have people that I go to for reviews and who I listen to and everything. The last movie that I felt had this kind of a charge behind it was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Everybody was talking about this movie.
Yep.
I went to go see it, and I just
We
thought it
went to
was-
go
Oh yeah,
see
we
it.
went to go see it. It was okay. Like the
Oh,
movie to me was just
wow.
like,
You don't
yeah.
like Ki Kwan?
I love Kiki Kwan.
I don't know, man.
I think the concepts and the things that were presented in the movie were fine. They were great. I love the outlandishness of the movie. I loved everything. I didn't like the way people were talking about this movie like it was the second coming of Jesus.
I see.
I did not like the hype machine that was being created by the influencers, by the critics, by everybody like that. And unfortunately, I'm getting the same vibes for Sinners. Unfortunately, now I'm not excited to see this movie.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you a
because
question.
I feel like the hype machine has been way too fucking overhyped.
Let me ask you a question. Can you think of an example of a film? I'll open this up to all three of us. Can you think of an example of a film that was as hyped as could be, and then you saw it and you went, shit, yeah, that's accurate, that's correct, and you loved it as much as as you felt like the hype was building it up?
I can't think of one, only because I feel like so here's the thing, I'm always a late movie watcher, and that's my fucking fault.
I'm the idiot. Unless we see big movies early.
Unless we get like screeners, unless we have any of these things.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
We got a screener for it.
Oh,
we got invited.
Really?
We got invited to a screener for it.
I remember I did see that early. I went on behalf of Nerdist. And
yeah. And it, like, I remember we got a screener for it, and it blew my mind. Right, blew my mind. And so I went in also not expecting anything before the hype train. Like,
sure.
I was the person starting the hype train because
we were the first ones to see it. Yeah,
and this goes back to that conversation. I don't judge people when they talk about it this way, because obviously you want to see this movie early, and you saw it early, and it's blowing your mind. Great, awesome. I'm the guy who I don't go see the movies immediately when they come out. And so I start even in not looking for reviews for these movies, just like friends posting reviews on their stories, or just like tweets that I see go by, or social media posts. I'm just like, guys, you're hyping this movie up, and I'm not even trying to pay attention to the reviews everywhere. Because it's everywhere. The reason I knew it was a vampire movie is because a friend of mine just posted it on their thing. I wasn't looking for the review. I was just like, oh, okay, well, fucking, it's a vampire movie now. Great. Like, did this spoil something for me? I don't know. But all I'm trying to say is that I'm getting hyped up for this movie, and I don't know if the movie will reach those levels of hype that I've built up in my brain now.
Sure, because everybody's saying it's 5 out of 5 perfect film.
And I fucking love Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan.
Once again, we cried during Creed.
We cried, dude. And that's another one of those movies that like we watched it before going.
We didn't know anything.
Producer Mark is holding up a sign here saying that happened to you for The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Oh, really?
See?
It was hype. But this, okay, so did you see it ahead of time? Gotcha. So you were a part of that hype train. This is an example of a movie that even if you didn't see The Dark Knight, everybody was talking about it, and you went to go see it late, or if somebody did, and it's like, oh, that actually lives up to. I'm also trying to think of other examples, Mark. I'm trying to think, like, for me, Spider-Verse was that, the first Spider-Verse film, and I guess the second too is just as good. I'm trying to think of, I loved Everything Everywhere
Fast and Furious.
All at once. Fast and Furious, Fast 5. But I did
all
see,
of them.
Specifically Fast 5. The rest of them were But I did see Everything, I think, a little bit early, but then it did. I think what you're describing, Agustin, is this thing that like film Twitter does, which is it does glom on to like
100%.
You know, in my opinion, maybe this is a controversial thing, maybe not. I think the reason The Dark Knight gets talked about like that is because of the Christopher Nolan effect.
Right.
Okay. Right. There are phenomenal directors that have also worked on Marvel movies and other superhero movies and stuff. But I think that Christopher Nolan, being the director that he was,
but he wasn't really back then.
Yes, he was, because he was.
Whoa.
Let me tell you
when
why.
Hector points, it's serious.
Let me tell you something. Let me say something. Let me tell you something. Hey, wait. Let me tell you something. By the way, that joke is in the Minecraft movie. Jason Momoa does it, and it cracked me up, dude. It cracked me up. We gotta watch Minecraft.
I need to go watch that.
Guys,
I need to go watch that.
watch Sinners for the channel, and we gotta watch Minecraft.
Gotta watch
Minecraft,
bro. Just for us.
Back to back.
That's for us.
Dude, watch it. Chicken Joe or whatever. Chicken Jockey.
Just for the lava chicken song that Jack
chicken,
Black sings.
Yeah, lava chicken. No, but I want to try to go back a little bit to the early 2000s. Okay, Christopher Nolan did Memento.
Right.
That was a movie. Not the one before that was, what did he do? Pi? Or am I thinking
Following.
of he did Following? I don't think it blew up in the same way. Pi was Aronofsky, right?
Yeah.
But Darren Aronofsky is another one. He's a director like David Fincher, Darren Aronofsky, all these guys that were sort of in this like late 90s, early 2000s that were like these like super auteur, you know, they care about film. You know, they're not Michael Bay doing the big commercial shit, music video. And then so for this guy to do Memento, which everybody, I think it was a kind of like a little mini Everything Everywhere All at Once back in the day from what I remember. The critics were raving. They're like, this movie's incredible. That it wasn't a commercial hit.
No, because it mostly was like a festival hit.
Yeah. Yes, but I remember being like, "Oh, this is brilliant beyond brilliant." And the fact that the next thing he did was Batman Begins.
It wasn't.
What did he do in between?
Insomnia.
So he did Insomnia, another one that was like Robin
remake.
Williams,
Yeah.
a remake. But it was when Batman Begins was announced, and it was Christopher Nolan from the director of Memento. People were like, "Oh, this is so
Yeah.
interesting. This is so this wasn't like Bryan Singer who'd done other X-Men movies
Right.
coming in to do Superman.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
wasn't a big commercial type of thing. And I remember when Batman Begins came out, because it was Christopher Nolan, who's British American, and a lot of the cast is British, and it's very sort of like, well, we're not just getting any actor to play Commissioner Gordon. It's fucking it's all these British actors. It's
Gary Oldman.
Gary
Classy.
Oldman. It's
Yeah.
classy.
Michael Caine.
It's classy.
Tom Wilkinson.
And I think coupled with the Batman of it, because Batman is the superhero that all adult men are still allowed to be fans of unabashedly. When The Dark Knight came out, I think that was, he shot the opening sequence for IMAX. Things were getting checked of what we're describing. The way Coogler talks about film, the way
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan has talked about film, similar. So when you have that hit, film Twitter goes, oh, I can be unabashedly excited about this
Yeah.
and not embarrassed, because it's not embarrassing. It's look at he shot at the opening sequence for
prestige
IMAX.
cinema.
It's prestige cinema. And I think the same thing happened with Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I think the same thing's happening with, not that they're undeserving, the same
Right,
thing's
right.
happening with Sinners right
Yeah.
now, that I think people are so excited about this that they wouldn't allow themselves to be that excited for something like Creed because it's the 7th Rocky movie.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's like a commercial thing, or Black Panther because it's one of the Marvel movies, whatever. They weren't excited. I don't know. I can think of other examples, but I know they're personal to me. I think I always care when I get pissed when movies that I think are not deserving of getting trashed get trashed, and vice versa. When movies that I maybe don't think are deserving of getting the hype get the hype. But in these cases, I do think they are, but the thing you're describing is a real thing.
It 100% is.
There's a level of sort of like snobbiness, frankly. It's
Yeah.
sort of like you're kind of saying, it's like it's prestige. I'm allowed to go all in on this and talk about this in a way that is like unabashed enthusiasm, and I don't have to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
you know.
Right. That's why I like the way you're talking about it, Adam, because what's impressive to you is what a lot of people don't think about, which is like the cinematography of it. Like understanding that what you're seeing changes depending on the theater you're in is super interesting, because that means people are having different experiences when they're watching this movie. Some people might not be able to, and some might be able to see the best picture quality possible, but that will also affect your decision on how you like this movie. Now, I've seen nobody besides you talk about that. And Ryan Coogler.
Right.
You and Ryan Coogler have talked about
We're
it.
besties.
And that's it.
I so badly now want to go have a drink with him.
Like, I
and
don't
talk.
know what version of the movie these reviewers have seen. Like, I don't know. Are they seeing like the best quality? Are they seeing... Are they have like a bad movie experience? Like what is the context of you enjoying this movie? And so to me, there's so many different variables that it's like, it's just all this media coming to you, and it's really kind of impossible to figure out which ones are going to be in line with what you think, because everybody's so positive about it.
Also, do you think, Agustin, that you are a bit of a contrarian as well? Do you think that you're somebody that's like, you're not drawn to the popular thing?
No, I don't think
that
so.
when a thing gets huge and popular, you're like, fuck, dude, I like underground hip hop. I don't want to go listen to that
I
shit.
do love underground hip hop.
Okay.
I hate most 90s music because I was an underground hip hop fan.
Okay.
But I will say that when it comes to movies, I'll give those movies their props
Yeah.
when they need. Like Creed, Everything Everywhere All at Once deserves all the praise that it got because of the story, and it was for me though, because the hype machine was so hyped up.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, maybe I'll just wait to watch this. At this point, maybe I'll just wait to watch this on YouTube with the guys. Like, maybe that's going to be my experience, because I know I'll have a better experience watching it with you guys rather than just like, I'm going to go to the theater with all of these ideas just kind of rattling around in my head of like, what should I expect? What should I not expect?
The third coming of Christ.
After Easter. After Easter. He died again and then came back.
Indeed.
After Easter. Nobody knows that, but he came back for sinners.
Listen, there's lots of people in this movie coming. None of them is Jesus, okay? There's lots of people.
But I'm just saying that the movie going experience and going in to watch a movie is, people really, I don't know if they think about it or not, but like as influencers, and we do too, like we influence people on how they're going to feel
Totally.
going into an experience in the cinema, right?
And and people are also always expecting, a lot of them expect for their preconceived notions to be justified.
To be justified
You know.
by either us telling them that the movie's
Positively
great
or negatively.
or negatively, right? And so that is a huge part of the movie going experience. So seeing a movie early obviously benefits the most people. Not everybody can go see a movie early.
Yep.
Right.
So
you had a normal weekend this week.
I did have a normal weekend. Like I had so much stuff to do.
I had a nerdy weekend. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was at an anime convention.
Right.
Adam had I saw Sinners in IMAX 70
87
millimeter
times.
weekend.
Yeah.
And you were like, I took the dogs to the beach.
Okay,
You
here's
went
an
to
update.
Home Depot, you had
here's
a
an
normal-
update.
yeah.
My dog Nessie walked
Update.
off leash for the first time.
Oh,
Fantastic.
nice.
She walked along the beach with us. She walked with the pack.
Normal
I was
weekend.
Like, that was my exciting thing that happened this weekend. That was the thing, right?
That's
and
so
then I
fun.
changed my brakes on my car.
Hey, great.
I changed the front pad. I
God,
still
you're
got to
such
do
a
the
dad.
back pad.
I know.
I'm telling you,
Had a
like,
dad weekend.
I had so much shit to do.
I am bummed when stuff like this can get overhyped. And I
Yeah.
do want to say, like, even if Everything Everywhere All at Once didn't hit for you the way that it hit for the rest of the internet and
Right,
the sort
exactly.
of, you know, the film Twitter that was happening, like this one might. Sinners might, but I also don't want to
It
tell
might.
you to go see it and expect that to happen to you. Maybe
Exactly.
not. But at this rate, I'm sure everybody watching right now is like, save it. We want to see you react
it for the
first time.
channel.
Save it for YouTube.
Save it for the
Yeah.
channel.
So we'll probably watch it when it comes out
At
on
this
digital.
point, I might just be the guy. I'm gonna just take
Well,
that.
you know
take
me.
That L.
If someone's like, "Will you wait and watch it on YouTube?" I go,
No, you can't expect it from
No.
you, Adam.
Yeah.
Like you are the
It
guy.
is
You're gonna be
impossible.
there.
If someone was like, "Would you be willing to not see Superman in theaters?" I wouldn't even let you finish your sentence. You would say, and I'd say no.
You get a
but
backhand
for-
so fast.
Possible.
But for some movies, Augustine might be like, "Yeah, I gotta clean my grill this weekend." Like Augustine's
No, for real.
Doing
Like I
that
gotta
shit.
do shit. I gotta organize
I gotta
the
do
garage.
the barbecue.
It's gonna take all day.
Here's the other thing we got to do.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So
up?
for a lot of people, Deadpool 3 didn't live up to the hype.
Sure. I could see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
you know, Deadpool 3
Well,
it was a silly
here's-
goose good time, but you know,
Here's what I
get
can give you, tell you that maybe will I don't know, make you feel a little bit better about seeing Sinners at some point. My girlfriend obviously loves movies, but is not.
A cinephile.
She's not psychotic like I
yeah,
am.
yeah. Nobody is though.
No one is.
she's normal.
She's normal.
Yeah.
She's very normal. I love her. But we went to go see a preview of Sinners on Monday, and I had already purchased tickets for IMAX 70 millimeter that Sunday because I didn't know that we were going to get an early. I wasn't sure if we were or when we were going to get an early screening. And then the next day, I went to IMAX headquarters with this guy, and I saw it in IMAX 70 millimeter. So I was like, well, I'll hold on to the tickets on Sunday. Maybe I'll go again by myself because I know she's not going to want to go. She's not that type of person. She has no desire to see movies more than once.
Guess what?
Usually.
Guess what?
I asked her, I said, I'm going to cancel these tickets, or do you want to come with me? Should I just cancel one or keep them both?
Yeah.
What would you prefer? I think I want to go see it again.
Wow.
Because we saw it on IMAX with laser,
Okay.
and she, every 5 minutes, was like, this looks really good. Yeah. Wow. I can't believe how good this looks. Because you know me, I'm like, IMAX with laser. We got to see it. She's like, this looks really good. And she was, well, you should hold on to the tickets. I'll go with you because I want to see what it looks like on film. And I was like,
Whoa.
okay, someone's trying
what's
to,
going on here?
someone's trying to, you know.
put a ring on that finger.
So we go and we see it on Sunday, and she, doesn't want to see movies more than once, but she saw it, movie ended, and I go, so what did you think the second time? She goes, I think I like the film version more.
Whoa.
And I was like, really? What about it? And she was like,
And they had the best sex of their lives that night.
and I was like, well, what about it specifically? She was like, I think like the way it's shot, the way it's lit, I feel like you just get more of what it's supposed to be on film, and there's that texture that makes it feel real. And I was like, damn, I did good. I did real
Adam,
good.
you are doing
We
good.
saw it on film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
We
a
saw it on
great-
film too, you and I.
No, I'm saying you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Great quality to it.
Yeah.
And I think it does help with a movie that's like supposed to be set
In the 30s.
the 30s.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
you gotta make it look a little
That
bit older.
tactile feel
Yeah.
of it.
That tactile
does,
feel.
yeah.
Folks, we did not even have time to get to this activity, but I
knew
got
it.
good
I had
news.
a lot of
we didn't even tell you what it was.
I had a lot of questions for you
They
guys.
were great,
so,
yeah, really good.
Yeah.
But I feel you when it comes to the overhypeness because
Yeah.
we were in the theater together for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and we both looked at each other and we were like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
no. Yeah.
Damn, am I gonna have to rewatch that
Yeah.
for the channel? I love that.
I was like,
movie.
there was a lot of visual things that I really
Right,
liked. There's
yeah.
a lot of performances I really liked, but I don't know if I'm like
It didn't click
moved.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just
I
didn't
With
click.
love-
Sinners, I was like, oh no, I love this movie.
I found my new
Oh,
personality
and
trait.
she told me, while we were driving home, I think that might be my favorite movie. And I was like, of the year? She goes,
Ever.
maybe ever. And I was
Whoa!
like, holy shit.
Dang, Adam.
Whoa.
Okay.
That's the power of Delroy Lindo. God damn.
That's the power of Delroy Lindo and IMAX.
I would love to rewatch Everything Everywhere with you guys.
I would
That
love to,
movie
yeah.
hit hard for me. I still think about the line of, in another life, I would have loved to just do laundry with you. Ki Kwan's character says to Michelle Yeoh. I also love Michelle Yeoh. She's fantastic in it.
No, the
I
cast
love,
is great.
the cast is incredible.
But
Oh my God.
what you guys are describing, I'm like, the emotion and what the story was doing and saying really hit for me.
Yeah.
But let's rewatch it again. 'Cause
Listen,
that
I
movie's
bought it
got-
on Blu-ray. That
I got
means
it.
I'm willing to like
sure, dude.
give
For
it
sure.
a chance.
Look, I'm not, and here's the thing:
I
I'm
already
not
put it on
trying
my
to
Cinema
like
Blu-ray, too.
downplay the quality of the movie
Right, right.
at
Just-
all.
Yeah.
But movies are about emotional connection.
Movies are about emotional connection, but also it's the bigger conversation happening around that movie.
Yes.
Like it wasn't just the influencers and the critiques. It's like like you couldn't get away from me in like news media and like people talking about the money and people talking about like everything.
And that's a big part of
the hard
it,
part
even
to
with
get away
Sinners.
Yeah.
I know we're already like past time, but that's the big thing that really bothers me about how movies are talked about today. It's all about box office.
Right.
It's all about hype. I don't see a lot. There are people, but I don't see a lot of people, and I'm not seeing it flooded on my timeline of like, let's talk about the story.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the details. Let's talk about how they connect.
Well,
like all that stuff.
Everybody's really dragging Variety because Variety's posting some bullshit little tweets with little headlines, and people are going, "What the hell are you talking
Meanwhile,
about?"
Fangoria's like, we should all be celebrating.
Yes, exactly. But people are dragging them, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Well, you guys are, we know why you're saying what you're saying." No, seriously, it's like you guys kind of work for the studios, and the studios can't let this be a success for these reasons, X, Y, Z, and the deal that Coogler has set up, and all this other stuff. But anyway, this is a great conversation. Okay, we got to wrap up, but we are going to say this.
Maybe at this point it will have already happened, but we're going to go to the Thunderbolts premiere.
Yeah,
see
you'll see
Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that movie as well and our thoughts on that and all that.
You might see that before this, but
Yeah.
we're going to get to this activity. I promise.
Eventually.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, guys.
But guys, thank you guys so much for sticking around, for watching. If you saw Sinners, what did you think about the movie? Give us all your thoughts on everything that we talked about. There was a lot going on in this episode.
No
but I really loved
spoilers
it.
for The Last of Us Part 2. No spoilers for that.
Yeah. Please do not spoil the rest of the season.
Anything from the season.
Anything. That also feels like that was a completely separate episode. That was all in this episode. We talked about a lot. So tell us all your thoughts on all the things. Check out everything else we're watching. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Heroes Reforged is gonna react. Heroes Reforged is gonna review. Heroes Reforged is gonna discuss. That's why we are watching.